Hey everybody, it's the Golden Sound Twice. I'm really just gonna go through this episode very quickly. So this is the final TMNT 2003 Sibling Dynamics, talking about Leonardo and Raphael. And it's I feel like everybody talks about it, so I don't really want to focus on it too much because I want to talk about a really cool dynamic, which is Master Splinter and April O'Neil, and that will be in the next episode. But, which I'm not going to do today, because I'm going to dress prettier for that. My hesitance is that everybody talks about the Leo and Raph dynamic. It's the sibling dynamic that's the most focused on, by the writers, and I can get really frustrated with it, because it's like, we're just like angst, and it's like, yeah, we could have angst, or we could have, other sibling dynamics take the center stage. And the angst that comes with that. No, we don't want to do that. You don't want my opinion? Fine. So what got me into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to even begin with was the 2007 CGI movie, and I have to say, I feel like I personally always will enjoy that movie, and what I found so interesting about the Raph and Leo dynamics is that they're both very emotional, very sensitive, characters, and just completely in different ways, and it's like, for Leo, at least in that movie, and okay, won't talk about the movie because it doesn't really, words, why is it so hard? I think, okay, here's what I'm trying to say, is that the first time I ever watched that movie, it kind of set the bar a little bit for how I view Leo and Raph's dynamics throughout any of the series, and there always are kind of those hints there where Raph feels some jealousy towards Leo, and Leo kind of feels some superiority, but that's what the writers always seem to focus on, and that's what's kind of frustrating. And it's like, when you like dive down deep into that, Leo's like superiority that is always written out is more of like his just severe anxiety that he's trying to keep his brothers safe at all costs, and sometimes he feels that unless if they do it his way, that they ain't gonna go on the highway, that it's not gonna work, that if they don't do things completely totally right, just one false move could wind up with everybody that he loves and cares about being dead. And so that weighs a lot on him, and that's a lot for a teenager to think about, especially when you're the only kind. You are the only, like, you guys are one of a kind. They are the only mutant Ninja Turtles around, so it's like there's just a lot riding on their survival. What happens if they get captured by a lab? What happens if they get killed by Shredder? What happens if they can't save the world? It's so a lot is riding on Leo's, leadership skills, and when Raph undermines him, it's putting everything that I feel like Leo interprets it as a slap in his face, and for Raph, who's focused more on the present, whereas Leo is always more focused on the future, Raph sometimes views Leo as like this strict, always calling him Splinter Jr., different things like that. And I think Raph's jealousy towards Leo isn't so much about his position, it's more of like how he feels that Leo is Splinter's favorite son. And I did like in the 2007 movie where Splinter is like, okay, you may not always be my favorite student, but that doesn't mean you're my least favorite son. And that like wave of realization that washes over Raph at that moment, I always found so, like, it really hones into the insecurities that Raph has about himself as an individual and his place in the family, because he can be so hot-headed sometimes, and while it can work to their advantage and his strength is wonderful, sometimes all those emotions that he has that's bottled in from not only being a teenager and having those kind of natural hormone chemicals, but also being they are the only ones like themselves. So he can't go and do what other teenagers do to blow off that steam, which is go hang out or, go take a walk out in the air. He constantly has to be aware of his surroundings. It's, just a lot for him to bottle in, and then when just one little thing can make that bottle crack and explode, he lets everything out. And sometimes that every faint explosion can put their team in jeopardy. And then he's constantly being honed in by Leo. And I feel that Raph's insecurities just grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And so, and it's not that Raph doesn't care about his family. We've talked about this throughout several of the other episodes where Raph is instantly there for his family. He's the bodyguard for everybody. He will protect everybody. But Raph protects his family in a different way than Leo protects his family, and those ideals clash sometimes. And those moments sometimes were the only things that the writers would focus on. I did like a lot in the 2003 series where we got to see them kind of goofing off every now and then, but it was only every now and then. It wasn't as much, and a lot of times in 2012 series, they were always going at each other's throats. And I think sometimes that's what just frustrates me, is that there's that always constantly going at each other for having different ideas. Leo being always in the future, 10 steps ahead, gotta have everything perfect to protect the family, and Raph emotionally being there to protect the family. So we don't always get to see them just being bros and goofing off, and when they're not constantly fighting with each other over how the family should be taken care of, they get along really well, and they can be silly and goofy or just kind of look at each other and instantly read each other's minds. They have this closeness and this connection, but and I guess that is how it is with siblings and families, is that one person will have one idea, one person will have the other idea. As a whole, it's to protect or to be there for the entire family, but different ways approaching it can cause a lot of strife. And my frustration is that a lot of times we only see the strife between Leonardo and Raphael, and we don't get to see their more fun, goofy sides. And that they have this trust in each other, and when the chips are down, they know that they can rely on each other. And sometimes we would have that great writing. We're like, yes, they can rely on each other. They're being bros. They're having fun. And then in the next episode, it's completely gone. It's like, where is this? Where was the development, character development? Where did that go? Why? So, and then of course we always focus on that as fans. And then a lot of people are like, Leo and Raph. And I'm like, but what about Donatello? What about Michelangelo? Which is why I made my sibling dynamic video. So, But anyway, so overall, those are my thoughts on Leonardo and Raphael when they're not when they're not constantly bickering with each other. I think that they are very close and that they trust each other, and they trust each other with the others. I think they're very mentally in sync. It's just that they have a difference of opinions on certain things. And instead of being able to communicate it, they have to scream and yell. So, anyway, so that is a wrap up of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2003 Sibling Dynamic videos. So my next video will be about the dynamic between Master Splinter and April O'Neil, and kind of how they have that father-daughter, or just this whole, he's the father, she's the aunt. There's just such a great dynamic between the two of them. They also are best friends and paint each other's nails. I love it. So I'm excited to talk about their dynamics and their relationships next. But then after that, I'd love to hear your guys' opinion. Would you like me to talk about other characters of the show, like the villains? Or would you like me to talk about the Turtles themselves as characters, and what my thoughts are on them? Or would you like me to tell you about my favorite top 10 episodes? Click like, comment, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you would like me to do next with the 2003 series. I plan on talking about them a lot because I love them. So anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for hanging in there with me in my terrible outfits. See y'all later. Bye!